can't wait to see if Na'Vi can put up a good fight up against a team like BetBoom. You know, BetBoom probably still the very heavy favorites in this matchup, but I'd love to see a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, it would be nice. Would set a good tone to start off this 2-game series here for Na'Vi. Their debut in DreamLeague 23, of course. Again, fighting hard through the qualifiers, looking really damn strong, making their way through that as well. And it's just fun to see, you know, I'm curious to see how Sanctity does this time. It's been a while since we've watched an IHC game, and the last thing he was on. Sanctity has always been a little bit more flashy. Not flashy, I want to say crazy, but that was really just how Lilligan was. All of them were just mildly unhinged in how they play.
30 seconds.
I want to see if Na'Vi is kind of riding that vibe.
We'll see. I just remembered as well, like, Malady, I remember the first time you and I casted him, I kept saying Malady instead of Malady, and I think you let me go for quite a while. Yeah, Malady. People really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I remember now. That's some time back. Jesus, it's been so long since
and I don't think you corrected me you didn't correct me for a very long time throughout that game.
Yeah, I think it was like, oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not Malady. You know? I don't know English, Mike. England, no first language. Okay.
Bit late. We do have Sanctity here on the Queen of Pain against GPK on his signature Storm. Theoretically, Sanctity should have a hero advantage in this mid lane, but it is GPK on Storm. So it could still be a very challenging lane for him.
I feel like we've seen this matchup go okay for Storm from a couple times. We've seen it certainly a little bit better for the Quap for sure. But Static Remnant should still allow some decent farm for GPK. And he can still get in a couple of overload pot shots. Probably not going to be going for the 1-1-1 build at 3. So no threat of double overload, but still just Static Remnant shove away. Some decent damage with the overload. And should be able to hold that lane relatively fine. Sanctity really has to work that early right-click advantage he does have in terms of range. But again, like the Storm shouldn't be completely cut out in the 70 range difference. Rune Control's the big one, kind of enables this, and denies are such a big part. If GPK is allowed to hit 6 at a decent timing, you just lose any hope in trying to bully out the Storm with support rotation.
And speaking of bullying, Malady was taking quite a bit of damage here from Save. Gonna try and give it back now though. Frostbite will land as well as the stun, but they don't chain them. A little bit unfortunate. You probably would have actually had a kill attempt there had you landed the stun perfectly with the Frostbite, but not quite.
Not quite. And you do have a lot of tangos here for Save. To stay in the lane, still has the 3 tangos on hand. Should be able to just stick and soak. Does look like we are getting some freeze issues.
Because of the webcam.
Back to the pause.
Webcam's going to stay on. Can't have any,
yes.
You know, can't have anything happening.
No. And hopefully. Oh.
Looking good.
We have some live questions.
Where's Wishy?
That we cannot answer.
Is Wishy?
I don't know if Wishy can answer that. I'm sure he is. He's there. He's reading. He knows. He's active. He's not asleep in the wheel.
Well, Nightfall's going to disconnect. He hasn't gone out through his question, but he's out of here. See if he sorts out the problem. I mean, speaking of Nightfall, he's up at top lane with Toronto Tokyo, and of course, they'll be up against Nefrit and Zayat. Seems like, you know, it could be a little bit of an annoying lane here for Nightfall. I mean, you are still up against the Razor of all things. I mean, obviously, you do have the waveform away at level 2, but could still prove to be a little bit problematic of a lane. Thing is, though, chances are he's probably not going to die.
No. And you've got an IO to protect. You've got Toronto Tokyo ready with a regen. Not that much regen, mind you, but he is looking to ferry out a little bit more. You have the Goen ready up, so we will be back into this game. I'm wondering if Nefrit will actually prioritize Plasma Field, as we've seen a couple of times. Like, if you know you can't land a static link for that long of time, there's a lot of value in just trying to Plasma Field, get that chip damage on Toronto, cut off with Zayat, look for a snipe on the IO instead. Makes it a little bit simpler to play that lane as well. Let's see what Nefrit's idea is for now. So far, lanes are going pretty fine. BetBoom edging out a lot more on mid for GPK once more, which is, again, what we've seen in the past in these Quap matchups against Storm. Storm's not really losing out on too much. Shadow Strike is annoying, but as long as you have decent rune control, you still manage to grab your water and you keep shoving out. You don't cop harassment on the Scream of Pain, then you're pretty happy here for GPK.
Absolutely. Now, bottom lane, you're still having a very good time for Yuragi on this Sven. Of course, no real pressure being applied to this Sven because you can't really do too much about him. Just a high armor hero. Doesn't take too much damage here from save, and I suppose Mira is quite happy anyway, as long as he's able to get his own farm going on the mag. Doesn't really care too much about the Sven's own farm. Mid lane, Sanctity getting a lot of harassment dealt back his way once again by GPK. I mean, it is still a rather even matchup when it comes to harass, but when it comes to CS, GPK is well and truly ahead.
And he is managing to work that lane again very nicely. And just the fact that he's soaking up so much is going to be a little bit concerning. Did see a little bit of a chase up top with the static link, but not much follow through onto Nightfall. Zayat just can't find an easy angle to chase up and try to go for the Cog's battery assault. And you did see Nightfall go for the adaptive strike as well over waveform here.
It doesn't really feel like he even needs the waveform at the moment, right? Like, the static link plus the cogs and battery assault, it just does nothing when you just start strength morphing. And well, Toronto Tokyo is right behind you with the overcharge and tether. Very hard to see Nightfall dying even without the waveform. And yeah, BetBoom, they're going to just continue getting away with a pretty easy safe lane. Same can be said for Yuragi though. Bottom lane has not been much of a contest for him. He is well and truly ahead in CS and is currently top of the CS board. Again, I don't think there's really much of a chance that Sven is going to be in trouble unless you get him past that tier 1 tower. Maybe a rotation from GPK could make it a little bit troublesome for him, but that's still a while away. You're looking at least the 6-minute mark. Speaking of GPK, back on a Sanctity. Sanctity will have a water rune to go back to, and it's actually started to overtake the Storm now. So the CS has been caught up here by Sanctity.
And the big part is really the denies for Sanctity. Just again, having that little level 6 advantage is going to be big. You'll have an opening where you have Sonic Wave and there's no dodge mechanic on the Storm just yet. So you could try to make a play if that 6 does present itself for Sanctity. GPK not getting any relief at the moment. Perhaps by that 6-minute power rune, you can expect maybe a movement out from
GPK.
He is...
No, he might just be gone. Sanctity does not want to dive in, doesn't have the mana for the Sonic Wave, or rather the Scream of Pain and the Blink. We'll just leave GPK to be very low on HP. And GPK still has a bounty rune to go back to, so he will be just fine.
Stupendous.
Does manage to get one bottle used as well in between the damage ticks. So does manage to eke away a little bit more. But again, you're going to get that level 6 advantage lining up here for Sanctity off the back of these waves that you're not soaking up on GPK. Still going to be stuck at 5.
Mira's in a bit of danger. Tried to go for a skewer back, but obviously wasn't quite in range for the tier 1 tower. The save's going to show up again, though. He'll get frostbitten now, and Yuragi's just going to rush forward, looking for the easy kill. Does have the stun up in 1. Save cannot escape. Yuragi able to secure first blood as now Malady going for another frostbite onto Miero. But Miero will be fine as you don't have the Stormhammer now available on Yuragi.
It's a pretty sick save for Malady, though. Miero was lining up for his skewer back. His root in place couldn't try to get the CM out, so... Heads up plays so far from Na'Vi. Again, very smooth starts in their lanes so far. You've got that 6 up for Sanctity, but GPK just gets the reset, comes back in. Still no backup for Sanctity as well on that mid lane. No rotations coming out yet for the Na'Vi supports. In fact, the side of BetBoom, it has Toronto Tokyo camping. They're set up. Although, Zayat does show himself.
It's a regen rune as well. You would have loved that if you were the Storm, but Sanctity will be able to pick it up for himself now, and obviously he's looking to try and make some form of a play. A lot of heroes around from BetBoom though. The save was even there on the Hoodwink just in case they required the assistance. Looks like Sanctity will just take the time to keep the farm game up. He doesn't really care so much now that he's went out the lane. Doesn't really need to hunt for kills that quickly. Can just continue the farm game. The GPK, he will go into the jungle instead, but again, does have the IO, so it is going to be a bit of a faster process than it normally would be.
Yep, should just be able to sustain true for the mana cost and clearing out these camps, and just avoids this level disparity by playing it safe. That does leave the free mid for Sanctity to feed off of, but that's still working towards his power treads anyhow. It's a little bit early for a rotation onto the sides. So the game holds fairly static here. for both ends. Wisdom runes as well. No big contest from either side. 1 for 1. Big timing we're looking for has got to be on when these mids are ready to play. Right? And when Sanctity probably has his power treads, that's when he should start to feel a little bit more open. Maybe he wants to wait fully for something like the Kaya to really get going, or Witchblade if he wants to go for that kind of build in Quap. I love what Zayat is doing, just looking to scout. There's no mana left on GPK. It does have the stick at the least, but it's just making it a little bit more painful for that Storm to soak up safely at the least.
Absolutely. You just make it as hard as humanly possible here for GPK. Sanctity now going to run right into Toronto Tokyo, looking for the easy pickoff. They're still going to be safe around with the Bushwhack to ensure that Toronto will be okay, and Sanctity never really bothers popping the Sonic Wave. Just lets Toronto walk out of there. Not going to mess around with the IO. Seems more than happy once again to just keep the farm game going for himself, and GPK is literally just standing there watching him instead of being able to hit creeps. And of course, Sanctity does have full control over both power runes. They are just literally making sure GPK does not have a game.
Yeah, they're really keeping the Storm in check. It has nowhere else to go, really. And they've already committed the IO to just camp this mid lane. And you're not going to die, but you're also not going to be able to play aggressive. It gives a little bit more room out up top for Nefrit to also just play the farm game. And granted, you're just farming safely on Nightfall in exchange, but the Razor's not going to be pressured out. Zayat is still running up like a madman, no care.
Oh, I'm not sure about this one. Zayat does have the help coming in here from Malady. Zayat almost goes down, but will be able to salve up and runs away. So, just trusting his teammates will be able to back him up. And indeed, GPK is forced to just run all the way back to the fountain. I mean, this is very depressing for GPK. He's stuck at 2.5k net worth.
Yeah, it's not a great feeling for GPK. He's going to get a lot. He needs a lot of space to really recover. We'll see if he does get that. Again, all the pressure is just applied onto that mid. The sidelines have been left wide open. And that does lead to Na'Vi looking for that move top with Sanctity here.
They'd love Nightfall. Question is, can you actually lock him down long enough to take him out? As Zayat does see him, Nightfall just hanging by the medium camp by the tier 1 tower. Here comes Sanctity with an Invis Rune, but again, Nightfall is just going to strength morph. Can they actually lock him down long enough? For now, they will. Nightfall going to go back the other way, does waveform. Sanctity jumping right back in, and Nightfall eventually will die. Of course, strength in numbers here for Na'Vi as they do find the position 1 of BetBoom, and now they can look towards that tier 1 top tower.
Yeah, should be able to find that, no problem. Do lose a pretty big courier for Yuragi with the Ogre Axe. And they will lose Malady on mid, but it's a fair exchange after what you find up top. Still trying to get rune control. They will find the Arcane Rune this time for GPK, and that makes all the difference. We've seen this rune do tons for Storm in the early game. See if they'll try to make something, or just accelerate farm off the back. It's still a good map state for the side of Na'Vi. 2-1, 2k lead coming off, just playing the lanes. A lot of farm already for Yuragi with a Massive Madness up. Can just easily play in the jungle if there's any threat. Some big stacks being made in the large medium camp there, at the least as well. So you have some flash farm lined up for yourself here. Whereas for BetBoom, it is more passive. Your Storm's not quite ready. Miero is trying to rush into the Blink, try to launch yourself off of that, but it's still about 500 gold away, which, considering lane, is still a pretty good timing for Miero. It does just mean you are waiting for that Blink. There's not much else you can really do here in BetBoom, unless you can find like an opportunistic pickoff for GPK on something like Malady over and over again.
I mean, so far, pretty good start for Na'Vi. 2k advantage. Sitting back, allowing Yuragi to get that farm up. They're going to find Nightfall again here in that dire jungle. Or at least Zayat's will. Zayat's been very, very good at just continuously finding this Morphling and just being as annoying as possible. They'll give all the stacks over to Miero, so Miero's just going to rush straight for the Blink Dagger, and we'll have it up rather soon. In fact, should have it up after this Ancient stack. Meanwhile, a smoke from GPK in Toronto. They'll head towards the top lane.
I've been wanting this.
You do have Nefrit around the area just farming by himself, so this could be a nice easy pick-off for BetBoom if they do run into that Razor, but they are lacking vision. Nefrit, he seems to have read the movement too. He'll TP right out of there. And this smoke will sadly amount to nothing.
Yep. Smoke on the pop of the Arcane. We're trying to get something out from that timing out. Still grouped around mid, but more for us a response from the shove in. Not going to be able to fully commit now and just kind of hang around. Try to keep playing that farm game. Again, for Na'Vi, this is everything you could ask for. It's the freest game that Yuragi's probably ever seen. Has the Echo Saber into the disassembly BKB with a blink. And that is not going to take too long considering how much space the Sven has. Nefrit, after a little bit of slower lane, already has the Yasha up, going for the Sanj. They'll find Malady, but they don't find Malady.
Oh, they missed the skewer. A little bit unfortunate. Now, I think you just kind of appreciate the time to sit back and farm right now if you are BetBoom, but you do have to be pretty concerned about how fast the Sven is farming to boot. Like, Yuragi's got the Echo Saber up, looking towards the Blink Dagger now on the Sven. Certainly going to be able to be quite active once that Blink is available. They'll look towards Yuragi, though. You do have GPK rotating around as they got the Sharpshooter channeling up onto the Sven. RP committed as well, but he got the God Strength off. Still looking for the fight. There's your RP finally committed, and Miero does at least find Malady, but now Zayats and Sanctity rotating around. Looking to trade, cannot find Toronto. Might lose Zayats to boot to GPK, and they will. So 2 supports going down. You do get Yuragi away, and it seems as though you're going to be able to also get Sanctity away. Though I say that, Yuragi was still farming by the looks of it. And will get punished for it. Nefrit? Oh, I don't know about this. 1 by 1 they're coming. They're going to try again. Sanctity will move forward, but he's very low on mana. They'll find Toronto. They'll also find themselves a squirrel on the tree line, so save will go down. The rotation this time does pay off. The Sanctity's able to find a double.
Yeah, and they find the kills they want. It is costly, though, and you already lost Yuragi, playing a little bit greedier, hanging back. And again, the big issue right now for Na'Vi is catch on that Storm, catching GPK. You only really have Frostbite to kind of deal with him. And Malady is a very easy target to pin down once he's caught up, plumped with his team. Miero, really great target prioritization. GPK on it again.
Oh, Zayat! Ooh. That's a nice hook. He will barely get away with his life intact, and GPK will naturally hand the tip over. As he should.
Yeah, that's quite the weaving of the needle through the thread there. Or, I don't know what the saying is. Something about needles and threads. He weaves it through the line, Mike. He does manage to get it going really nicely, and evening out the game still, not dropping any losses. 4-4. Lead of Na'Vi is not that noticeable. Again, most of that is on the Sven. GPK sneaking around to find some stacks as well. He's managed to take out the large camp at least. Again, your big issue is trying to pin down GPK. You don't have that fast control. Like, Sanctity going for the Kaya Sanj, missing something like an Orchid does mean GPK can just do what he wants. It's not like you're always initiating with Malady with a Frostbite. It's just way too short range, very telegraphed to catch a Storm outside of like a smoke. We'll see what the solutions are for Na'Vi down the line. It does feel like maybe Yuragi and a Blink for the BKB is what it'll take next. And until that point, BetBoom are going to be very happy to just play off the back of GPK and to an extent Miero. Like, he is set to go. Still on the hunt, rushing the Ags now as well on that Magnus. They are eyeing top. Yuragi. Whoops.
Yuragi a bit out of position here, looks like. He is going to get caught, and here he does go for the top creep wave, thinking it was safe, but BetBoom were just casually waiting in the wake, and well, naturally they will punish. That's your highest net worth hero on the map going down. That's a very big pick here for BetBoom.
And it is. They managed to relocate back for the haste rune as well, right on the mark there for GPK. Already bouncing back again after a pretty slow lane for the Storm, all things considered. Considering all that pressure onto mid is starting to really build up, and he never died. They were just applying so many resources to slow that tempo. But with an IO, you don't need much on the Storm. You just have all that regen on hand. They do use that space to shove in bot with Nefrit. They will find a tier 1 in exchange. But again, you're in a happy position for BetBoom. Smoke out though from Zayats and Nefrit. They've got that hook ready again.
They absolutely do.
Dire are scanning.
Mid lane, they're just waiting for somebody to show up and defend that tier 1 mid tower.
Radiant's top tower.
Nobody will be around the area, so Zayat's just going to kind of scout out with the rocket flare, but finds nothing. You can still just commit for the tier 1 mid tower, though, and it seems as though that's exactly what they'll do.
Dire's middle tower has
They'll get away with it pretty much scot-free, as BetBoom not interested whatsoever in trying to defend. So lines were being drawn towards Save on the Hoodwink, but Save's going to be just fine for now. No real vision over the Hoodwink either, so it shouldn't be the freest kill of their lives, and it looks like they're just protecting Uragi. Zayat and Malady just literally bodyguards here for Uragi, just standing by the Sven, not allowing that kind of death to happen again.
Dire's
Yeah,
bottom
just
tower is under
they can't
attack.
afford to have that Sven fall flat once more. And, you know, he's still #1 net worth, but his bigger margin's just gone. Needs that recovery into the BKB down bot.
They're going to give something a crack here. Looks like they will try to jump Toronto Tokyo as Nefrit does survive the initial onslaught, and Toronto tethers away. Hookshot off the mark from Zayat.
Middle tower.
The chase does continue for at least the IO, and Toronto should really have no way out. Nice little pick up there for Nefrit, because they could not really hold down GPK though, so GPK able to just zip away freely. But you do get yourself an IO for your trouble.
That is a pretty deep commitment to try to get Nefrit as well. They were trying to jump the Razor. That was BetBoom getting aggressive and just not able to clean up, not respecting the Sanj and Yasha timing there for our offlane Razor. That was just buying enough time, although maybe not now.
Yeah, a little bit problematic. Nefret going down here to Nightfall, and that's not a great feel. You know, it looked good for a moment, but now Nefret gone, going to make it pretty awkward as Nightfall does manage to pick up the bottom tier 1 tower. Getting closer and closer to building up that phylactery into the Kanda now, and the Morphling, which is when things get very, very scary. The mid lane. It's like Zayat was looking for an angle here onto GPK or Toronto, but again, you jump the Storm, you probably won't have enough lockdown. You just don't have, apart from the hookshot and the frostbite, that's pretty much it. I doubt that'd be enough.
No, you need follow through from Uragi to try to burst down, but again, this Sven isn't quite ready. Is fairly close to the BKB with the disassembly, just about 700 gold away. You're gonna be able to find that in a nice point. Still, BetBoom have some openings. They've got RP already. They've still got the smoke running for a little bit longer on Miero, but not gonna cross the river to really get anything done. Not gonna force the issue too hard. Na'Vi, for their part, smoking up with Sanctity and Malady now. It feels like they should just kind of wait out this BKB for Uragi. At that point, they should be ready. Just need to be a little bit more patient. They are making connections bot. They are hanging around as a unit overall. They don't want to give those openings, but it's also not achieving that much, although.
No, they'll see
Maybe.
Toronto Tokyo. They'll also see GPK, but again, they can't really hope to kill the Storm, so GPK able to just get out and pick up the shield rune for himself now, and yeah, just the rotation's panning out to nothing again. You've now got Nightfall, who's overtaken a net worth. Phylactery on the way. Looking at Nefrit down at bottom lane as well, so they might have themselves a Razor on their hands if they're lucky. It does seem like they'll just kind of leave Nefrit be and instead go back to the farm game. You start to wonder if Na'Vi are running out of a game plan.
I don't think they're quite out of game plan. They've got this BKB already lined up. So Uragi, again, should be set to go. Feels like this is their big spike to connect as a team. Maybe wait out Nefrit's BKB, which is 300 gold off. It's just so close. Once you've got those initial BKBs up, should be set. GPK is not going to be as big of a threat, although... Ooh.
Jump is there onto GPK. Hookshot will connect from Zayat, but GPK again is able to waveform out, and Toronto, he'll just tether away. As Malady will die to Nightfall. They might still have Toronto that they can kill off as he does relocate away GPK. But it's still just an IO. This is Toronto's job, just dying for the team.
Pretty much. Doesn't care. Does manage to bail out. They already got the trade on Malady a while ago as well. Nice kill for Nightfall to pick up. So you basically just trade the supports. Nightfall gets the better end of it, considering this rush into the Kanda, considering that major power spike that does provide you here is going to make it a little bit tough for Na'Vi to try to sustain through that burst. And again, while that happens, you've already got the full Ags up for Miero. He's got the Horn Toss ready to go. You do have that double BKB timing we're looking at, so they will try to make a play now.
Jump is there onto Nefrit down at bottom lane. He will get the BKB off, and now Yuragi! He'll take down save, and they may have just found Nightfall. That's a beautiful start out from Yuragi. And what a turn from the Sven. My goodness.
That's the timing they were looking for. Double BKBs, and they play confidently on Navi's end into Roshan, while they've got a little bit more time on that God's Torrent as well. Not the most time in the world. They should have enough damage to clear this out. BetBoom, for their part, I mean, they lose their Morphling, sure, but they hold on to the RP. They don't lose the GPK. They just kind of need to sit back. And they know about the BKBs now. They can try to play around them. They've got the full Kaya and Sanj up now as well on GPK. They've got a little bit more frontlining on the Storm when he does fully commit, and they'll steal away some stacks while Roche is being taken. So they'll get some trades, something to compensate for the secondary life. But Na'Vi getting a little bit more out for themselves now. Do give the Aegis out to Nefrit, curiously enough, onto the Razor. But Nefrit is, again, having a pretty great time, although...
Yeah, he might need that Aegis here, Nefrit. Zayat, nice hook. That's done too. Cogs to lock down Toronto, so Toronto, Tokyo probably set to fall, but they do get the Aegis. In fact, never mind. Toronto survives. Zayats will fall. And Nefrit will immediately lose that Aegis they worked so hard for.
I guess, you know, giving Nefrit the Aegis does pan out. Would have been a free kill otherwise, I suppose. And I guess considering a Sven with Aegis dying, with God's Torrent used up, it's not the best feeling anyway. So I can kind of see the logic there. Still BetBoom, again, hanging into this game, 8-8, 2k up. Still have that threat for RP. They've got the Conda all done on Nightfall. They don't even need him to join in. They just need a good angle and good setup for GPK. And still find some of these pickoffs. Maybe not onto our Sven of Yuragi. Just a bit too tanky. And we'll hold back. But as this game scales on, Na'Vi still has play. You know, it's the same timing with the Razor, with something like the refresh down the line. Still a massive pain. You've got a lot of physical bursts on Yuragi. You just need hold for GPK. You just need something to hold him down. An Orchid, which is what Sanctity is building up for now, will help the cause. Issue is you're also working on to GPK's BKB right around that timing, so he will have protection for that lockdown, and it's really the question in this draft when we were talking about that draft. It's like, all right, how do you deal with Storm? And right now, there's still no solution.
Yeah, I mean, and this is GPK having a really, really tough lane. Like, they basically tri-laned against him at some point just to ensure he would not be able to get to this stage, but he certainly has recovered very nicely. So we will see a 4-man smoke now from Na'Vi heading towards the eastern side of the map. Problem is Nightfall has already left the area. They'll try to search through that dire triangle, but nobody around here from BetBoom. Though Nightfall is kind of close by if you do cross the mid lane. But it doesn't seem like they're really going to search that area by the T2 tower. Na'Vi's still patiently waiting to see if he does show himself in this mid creep wave, but he does not. He'll let the Mad Illusions do the job. And the rest of BetBoom, they just hide by the twin gates. They're just casually waiting to find out exactly where the side of Na'Vi are hanging about. And it seems like they're ready for a fight. TP's into the tier 2 tower. Miro having a look around, does find the horn toss onto Yuragi, and the skewer back into the tier 2 tower as well. Yuragi gone. Zayat's tried to save him with a hook shot, could not connect though, as Malady will also get caught out. And everyone else from Na'Vi just needs to leave. The GPK right behind Sanctity, gonna find Zayat instead. He is out of mana though, to be fair. Won't really matter too much though. You do find some great kills here, and Yuragi going down to more than enough.
Yeah, that's the big kill they want. It does force the RP out from Miero. The horn toss looked pretty awkward. Tossed him into a spot where you couldn't get the skewer back. Still forced the BKB out as well from Nefrit.
Oh,
they found everything they could ask for.
A quick pause here from Malady.
That's down to 7 seconds down to BKB. In that last fight as well, we saw Sanctity instantly pop his Orchid onto the Magnus on that re-engage, so it left a lot of room there for GPK to run around. which again is your big concern here. Just this Storm and keeping him down. Like, this is your opening when you have Orchid without the BKB on GPK. And they're not able to really find that angle in. And BetBoom just getting away with everything they could possibly ask for here. And again, as this game goes on, it's the scaling of BetBoom is so strong. You've got RP, you've got eventually the Storm can consider something like the Ags to relieve some of that pressure on Miero. You've got the follow through with like an Acorn Shot Bushwhack that can come out as well to just follow through control if you're all clumped up already from the Vortex. There's so much to be concerned about. For Na'Vi, it feels like the ideal is use this high movement you have with your Clockwork and Bop to hunt down the backline. Hunt these softer supports, take care of the Hoodwink, take care of the IO in particular if you can, before going for these core kills. And that's your ticket to success. It's just the side of BetBoom aren't presenting these supports at all. They're hanging so far back. And they're just so well protected. There's no openings for Na'Vi.
No, there certainly doesn't feel like it right now. And I mean, for Sanctity, I think the problem is as well, like, to jump the back, he doesn't have a BKB available, so it just feels like he'll be the one to get blown up. It's problematic to say the least here for Na'Vi, as they are still lacking those BKBs on those, or at least on the Queen of Pain, which I think is the one hero you do need to find those supports. It's BetBoom now, I mean, 4K ahead.
Radiant's middle tower is under
You're still having Nightfall overtaken net worth, and now he's at the top of the net worth graph. And of course, there is no real Roshan to play for, so they'll just get back to the farm game. It is a morphling after all. I'm sure BetBoom are more than happy to just give Nightfall time to get even bigger. He'll have his BKB in just a moment, just about 700 gold away. And I think you are starting to look like you're getting into deep water here as Na'Vi.
Long live
And it does.
your queen.
I mean, again, you have great damage that can come out here from Uragi, and you have this decent build-up for Nefrit. I'm a little bit surprised he's prioritizing something like the Satanic over maybe more utility. Maybe a little bit more self... I guess the Satanic can be your self-dispel, but it'll stall out something like a later refresh on top, which is really when the Razor gets scary. Still has that timing that can come out, though, so... There's some scaling. It's just a lot easier for BetBoom when you've got like AoE Vortex to consider, when you've got that RP, even the Hoodwink, all of the scaling damage on the Morphling with that BKB you mentioned, which is up now. Not gonna be able to pin down any of these big cores too long. Even the BKB of GPK is also done now, basically. So that Orchid Sanctity had, that little bit of control, not gonna be enough.
Well, we'll see what they intend to do now as Na'Vi. It seems like there is a bit of a storm coming here from BetBoom. They'll just sit back by the Radiant Triangle for now, just not give themselves away. As Zayats may get caught by Save. Save will see him walk past. Does get the Glacier off. Miero is available with the skewer if necessary. Actually does make it. So he'll miss the sharpshooter, but does donate the kill to Nightfall. So Miero says no.
Yeah, Miero's like, this goes to the carry. Never.
These core plays, man, they make me sick. You know, you could just give the kill to Save. He deserved it. He set it up. But no, Nightfall needs a kill.
that sounded personal to you, Mike.
I just don't. Oh, here we go. What happened that time, Miero? You couldn't hear without the bushwhack. It's unbelievable. You know, why couldn't Save take that kill, John?
He's farmed enough. He's got his Gleipnir. He's happy,
Is under attack.
right?
No.
What do you want? You want him to farm into the Daedalus, huh?
I just
Fine.
Maybe he cares about his KDA, John. Right? Maybe he was a COD player once upon a time. You never know.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
No, doesn't need it, Mike. Still, what they do need is this tier 2 free siege up top for Nightfall. Fortify Forest out just to stall it. We'll buy some time. Na'Vi still on the hunt, and they smoke out again. They do know where the side of BetBoom are playing, so they can find an angle. They have to be smart with how they initiate here.
It'd be massive if you could pick up GPK to start. They will avoid that. Uragi's trying to sneak up from the back. GPK still kind of baiting them forward, it looks like, but he's quite low on mana himself now on the Storm. Problem is the smoke has just completely worn off now, and Na'Vi just need to run. They'll at least get a haste rune for Sanctity for their trouble, but that's going to be about it. It just amounts to nothing. Meanwhile, Nightfall just takes the top tier 2 tower. Freed.
Yep. Again, they've held that position. They've been shoving in. The Fortify was forced way earlier on from the side of Na'Vi. BetBoom just finding 3 objectives. They've got some decent forward wards here at Na'Vi, but BetBoom aren't playing across this river at all. They're playing on the opposite side. Oh.
For a jump, Yuragi trying to find somebody. GPK is going to jump in first though. Meanwhile, Zayats could be in a spot of danger, but does get away from Miro. As Sanctity now going to show up on the quap, taking the Magnus very low on HP. Orchid will be out. Sanctity, he'll pop the Sonic Wave, but he is still healed up on the mag. They are still trying, but GPK just jumps in. Yuragi, he'll cop the RP before he gets the kill on the mag, but it looks like a decent team fight so far for the side of Na'Vi, but no! Nightfall just takes Yuragi out so easily. Zayat, he is also gone. And this is really just starting to fall apart for the side of Na'Vi. As Nefrit trying to fight, Malady will get blown up by Nightfall. And Nefrit surely is set to fall and does go down as an ultra kill for Nightfall. The only survivor will be Sanctity on the quap. And he is alone.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. It's one of those things. You're playing Razor into Morphling. You try to static link Morph, fine. Sure, he can waveform away. What Morphling can do is turn into the Razor and static link your Sven. So suddenly Yuragi just literally can't do anything. Even with a BKB, he's just standing there, getting his damage sapped away. And sure, you commit so much to try to kill off Nero, and he still gets off that key RP onto 1 to provide that opening for Nightfall to get that static link. And it just falls flat. It's like, there it is. What are you gonna do? You end up with a Razor versus Sven scenario, and you have no answers.
Very, very tough situation. Not much to be done. You can kind of see the replay here is just a tough affair. I mean, you try your best as Yuragi, but it just seems like you just had so much control here by the Morphling in that Razor form. And well, now in BetBoom, they can look towards Roshan in 20 seconds. Na'Vi are going to have all their heroes back up, but I mean, that team fight, it didn't look that hard for them, quite frankly, John. So, and Miero was basically down as soon as the fight started. So now, I mean, with Miero back up, the whole squad back up, I think BetBoom are pretty confident to just try and move into that Roshan pit.
Yeah. Spawns right up. They do have the flares to at least keep watch here from the side of Na'Vi. And mind you, that's Miero without BKB. He's only about 253 gold away from it. Once that BKB's up, you're not going to be able to get that same chase going on this Magnus. You might not even find that kill at all. BetBoom. Just so many questions that Na'Vi has to answer from BetBoom. How do you deal with it? With the Storm? How do you deal with this Morphling? You can just turn into Razor. There's really no answer for that. Do get a little bit of a pause, and Nefrit will get a reconnect going. I'm trying to think of items that can come in, like a refresh on Nefrit. Daedalus for Yuragi is nice, but I honestly feels like they need at least one Linken's on hand here from the side of Na'Vi. Even then, they've got enough to kind of just pop it. That and GPK is rushing the Ags anyhow. So Linken's won't save you from that instantaneous control, follow through to start, and then have the follow through from RP or RP first into Vortex, whatever order they want here in BetBoom. It's that scaling now for BetBoom. It's all of that control, which you lack that scaling control in Na'Vi outside of like Clockwork Hookshot. That's your biggest scaling control. That goes through spell immunity at this point. And Zayats is a long way from hoping for an Ags.
Oh, here we go again. Unpause is there. Roshan's still available for either side. Zayat has scattered at Roshan with the Rocket Flare, so they are very well aware on Na'Vi's end of things that Roshan is available. BetBoom should be pretty well aware themselves that Roshan is there. They'll know Zayat has taken the Watcher as well, so they will start to head down towards the Roshan pit. The scan will be committed as well. BetBoom will reveal that they are not there in the pit, that is. 5-man smoke is up. BetBoom running south right towards Na'Vi. Na'Vi just currently holding the high ground. Yuragi's moved down to the low ground. He will break the smoke of Nightfall and will blink away. In fact, he'll jump in. Toronto will get caught first, but he has the Ghost Scepter to survive it. They'll keep chasing Toronto down through the silence. He's still alive, though. Toronto surely going down to Yuragi. Does finally die. As the chase is on for Nefrit. Nefrit will die here to the Morphling. Meanwhile, Sanctity completely whiffing the Sonic Wave. Yuragi, he'll jump save now, but Nightfall's the big problem. Can he really man-fight the Morphling? I think the answer just might be no. Yuragi is gone. So is Zayat, and well, I think so is Roshada's Sanctity getting caught in the tree line. He's also down. A full team IP for BetBoom, and a nice attempt from Na'Vi, but it just seems like every time the Sven tries to jump Nightfall, it never pans out.
No. It just can't. Yeah, the angle was a little bit better for Na'Vi. That decision from Yuragi to break the smoke actually paid off. Isolating the IO, removing one big tool from BetBoom, still not enough. Again, with the BKB from Yarrow, there's not much to threaten this Magnus any longer. And the side of Na'Vi, it's just, what do you do once these BKBs pop out? What do you do about this Morphling and Storm that can just rip into your lines? Doesn't care about the BKBs, especially Nightfall. Like, he can just turn into Razor, snap his own damage away, doesn't care for Nefrit at all. Na'Vi, there's a clear lack of answers here. Nefrit's trying to go for the refresh. Yuragi, he's got the Daedalus pretty much ready to go once his courier is set to kind of give it to him. So they've got some tools on hand, but I don't know how you take these fights. Find a nice Tormentor, get the free shard for Sanctity on that blink. The Sonic Booms are up. So a little bit of easier initiation for Na'Vi, but not by much. We've got the full Ags for GPK, and that AoE Vortex is just going to do... It's just going to ruin you on Na'Vi. I know. It feels like it's down to probably just Zayats. Isolate somehow in the backline, get the follow-through from Sanctity and Yuragi, and go from there. But that's all easier said than done. It just feels near impossible.
Well, we got 3-man smoke from BetBoom.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Looking at T3 mid tower. The Manta Illusions from the Morphling already doing quite a lot of work onto that tier 3.
Radiant's middle
Double
tower
siege
is
creep
under
as well.
attack.
So at least one of them does die.
Radiant structures are fortified.
A pretty rough defense for Na'Vi to try for, considering nobody else but Nightfall is showing right now. And Nightfall, of course, does have that secondary life in the Aegis available.
Tower has fallen.
Jesus Christ.
Rain Tracks
Nightfall.
are taken.
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
500
bait them
damage
with-
per right click.
He's trying to bait them back with the Manta Illusion as well to jump the wrong target. They will not, as now Miro. He does get a Horn Toss with the skewer back. RP committed. Sanctity blink right into it. Oh boy.
Oh,
Malady to drop as well. I mean, it might just be over. GG.
Is under attack.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Can't really fault now.
I mean, obviously, if you're Na'Vi, you're just hoping to tie this one up 1-1 if you can. And well, BetBoom looking confident to take a second game, I'd say. I do like the draft they've come up with here as well. And Na'Vi, of course, they have one of those drafts where if you fall flat, you fall really flat. There's no two ways about it. You've got to dominate this early game and move into the mid game very strong. What's with the music? What's happening?
It's a cuddle.
I understand it. Well, go on, John.
It's lovely. And for some reason, it makes me think of a carousel. You know?
Yes,
The little oracle, the little cuddle time. Love
I
it.
imagine that's why
Great
they're playing the song, John.
I love it.
Because yeah.
Yes.
Well done, John.
Where's the talk, Sanctity? There you go. He does it when the camera is away.
30 seconds.
Good on you,
to battle.
Well, Toronto just finds himself a boar, I believe. Very, very nice. I doubt Na'Vi will really want to go for a level 1 team fight, but I guess you never really know. Seems like BetBoom would be a little bit better off going for that level 1 team fight if they so wish. It really is going to be unbelievably important to win out these lanes quite strongly here for Na'Vi, I'd say, John. I mean, their mid game needs to really dominate for this draft to work, I'd argue. As it is going to be, I believe, a 2-for-2 trade on the bounties. What do you think? I mean, do you feel like they've got what it takes here with this draft to win out the lanes that well?
I think they do. Like, again, you've got a Razor plus a Clockwork lane, so there's easy rundown potential. You can kind of go 2-3-0 this time instead of 3-2 that we saw from Nefrit, so you can try to apply that pressure early on. I do like that Maldi knows what's up. He knows that blockage is coming for the camp. He just cuts off that movement here from Save. Save's still going to make his way down. Save still has that sentry. Save will still block it off. So camp access is not going to be there. And that is the important thing, right? We're looking at the mid lane. You've got the Kotal versus Pango lane, which is still much better for Kotal, but not completely unplayable for the Pango. And it is important, again, for Sanctity to hit that timing with the Earned Vessel. Just getting your camp cut off, even for one spawn and you miss a stack, it's not going to be great for the Kotal. I've seen that throw off that tempo by quite a fair bit before.
Absolutely. I mean, Sanctity can make this this kind of start that he likes. Of course, you do have those side lanes as well. Top lane, Melody's been taking a fair bit of damage out from Save. Meanwhile, Skewer back play onto Yuragi. Yuragi's actually going to take a bit of damage on his way out from Miero. Does not have the static link up, so Miero's going to keep chasing him down. Blood Grenade will actually land, and Shockwave is now available once again, so Yuragi is still not out of danger. Save will be able to secure first blood here, and that is really not something you expect to see.
No. That's them left one-on-one as well. Like, Miero was basically alone as Save and Maldi were the ones trading blows as we saw earlier on. And props to Miero for finding that opportunity to skewer back, not letting the static link really be maximized in the first usage, getting the isolation onto Yuragi, getting that cleanup. That's a good tone for BetBoom already. And it's like you talked about as we were going into this game, like Na'Vi needs to stomp these lanes. Like, you've got Clockwork Razor. You need to be the ones playing off of that aggression with a level 2 spiking Maldi. But he's just cut off. Save's just doing a great job of ensuring the Clockwork is just not able to soak.
Tough positions here already for Na'Vi. I mean, just looking back at that mid lane, GPK is really starting to get aggressive already on that Pangolier. Sanctity's still not having the worst time, but generally you see Coddles really dominate the mid lane, and that is just not happening quite yet. The top lane Malady is going to try and get aggressive here on the clock. Save does have the Nightmare available, but can't quite get it off. Does eventually get one onto the Razor, but eventually will still be taken off here by the clock, as now Malady dragged underneath the tier 2, or rather tier 1 tower. Oh, the uphill miss at the tier 1. It's a little bit unfortunate. Miero sees the uphill miss and he just says, screw that, I'm out of here.
Good understanding. Knows there's a creep wave nearby that's higher value than this potential kill. So we'll just take it. Nice little pickup there for Na'Vi to even out, but that does cost him resources. Yuragi's out of mana, does have 8 charges on the stick. And that'll give him enough for at least one more cast on the plasma field if he so wishes. But you are still better off there on the side of BetBoom again. GPK is still getting aggressive onto Sanctity. Sanctity still hasn't spotted the blockage. In fact, they did mention D-Ward at the very least, so no blockage any longer. There is recovery for Sanctity in the camps, but again, even the mid lane, this timing that you're expecting, it's not going to be that sharp for Sanctity overall.
Save may have gone a bit too far again, top lane. He tried to get aggressive onto Yuragi. A nice skew array from Miero, but Miero could be in a bit of danger now himself, as he would actually chase down Malady. In the meantime, Nightfall does die down a bottom lane, and now Yuragi's in trouble. Yuragi apparently goes too far. Malady not out of danger yet either. He'll cop the Nightmare from Miero. Skewer is back up in 1. Malady trying to get away. Skewer is there, but the Cogs pushback is out. It won't matter though. They've still got the mana for the Shockwave. Miero just looking for the deny on himself. Does get it as well. Nothing being handed back the way of Yuragi. How did Nightfall die down to that bottom lane while all that was happening?
I think he just got a little bit isolated out. Maybe they were going back for a pull with Toronto. I didn't quite watch that because of that top. It went on for so long. That is a little bit of a boon for Na'Vi overall, though. Again, these lanes needed to get a little bit more aggressive. They're putting a little bit of a stoppage onto Nightfall. Not enough to really make it feel too uncomfy, though. Like, this is still a Luna. There's still a lot of recovery for him that Nightfall can find for himself anyway. And as long as his levels are flowing, he gets those points in the glaives, starts to get into the power treads, Massive Madness, he's still set for a good time. However, that push threat from Nefrit can line up. Again, it's just this damage output. If you start to get the Axis on with a blast off and a sticky bomb from Zayat, there is enough to clear out any of these heroes here.
Absolutely. Bottom lane, bit
Malady.
of aggression going on to Toronto. Malady has rotated to boot. They'll try onto Nightfall. Nightfall, though, being healed up by Toronto Tokyo, is still fine for now. Problem is the chase is on now. Zayat, he'll land the sticky bomb onto the Luna. They do eventually get Toronto Tokyo. Zayat's having to run and Nightfall trying for the TP play out, but the cogs push
the
back.
cogs.
Malady waiting for the last second. And Nefrit will pick up a double kill on the Beastmaster.
Yeah, that's such a big win. Still, they're taking this chance down mid to pressure out Sanctity. Not quite enough to get the kill, but enough to shove him away from the lane. You are feeding quite nicely onto Nefrit. This timing into the Dominator is going to be quite nice to, again, help that siege, help to open up the map, to get some more space going. But my concern is still mid. Like, yes, you make a lot of things happen, but you're shafting your Kotal to get that done. He does have the urn up. You need some charges to really get effective, though. GPK, he's got the first power rune, has himself a haste, has the rolling thunder ready to go already. Is perfectly fine there. Just need to kind of sack bot at this point with how aggressive Na'Vi are.
Oh, top lane, a bit of a group up once again. This time GPK has rotated on the Pangolier. They're looking towards Uragi. Save's trying to get within range for a Nightmare. Can't quite get there yet. Trying to cut him off through the tree line. Might find him, but Uragi running towards the Roshan pit. Will go for a TP play out. Does he make it? No. GPK will hand the vision over. The Nightmare there in time. And Uragi, I mean, he tried his absolute best to avoid that situation, but GPK being in the area made it very, very challenging.
That he did. One big boon for Na'Vi, at least, is that they find double wisdom runes. So the pivotal level 6 for the sports isn't going to be too far off. At least for Zayat, he's going to have the threat of the mines for the blast off soon. That should lead to some more kill opportunities as long as Toronto Tokyo isn't around to save. So you have that lining up for you here. Na'Vi, again, rallying quite nicely despite these losses up top. They've applied a lot of pressure bot. You're already forced to jungle up early here for Nightfall to just be protected. They're still keeping that pace down bot too.
They'll try again onto the Oracle. Toronto, unable to protect himself, will go down once again. And Nefrit, he's been doing a pretty damn good job here on the Beastmaster. You know, I had my doubts during the drafting stage, John, but he's currently 3-0-1. Just feels like every time Raw's off cooldown, he's able to secure a kill.
He's identifying his targets really damn well. Again, he's able to just get the siege going. Doesn't have any points in the inner beast, so it's a little bit slower going than you'd want it to be, but is still lining up for just a free siege. Dominator going to be flying out soon now as well. Are looking to maybe try to make something happen up top with Toronto Tokyo shifting gears now in this lane. We have the triple clump up with GPK still set to go. He could die for this with a shield rune if he wanted to.
Hold out for now. GPK looks like he'll return back into the mid lane. You are looking to make a lot of space now for Nightfall, who has fallen quite far behind in the net worth department. Nefrit, he'll pick up that bottom tier 1 tower. This Beastmaster certainly making it possible for this Na'Vi draft to hit that mid-game timing that they're looking for by the looks of it. The Sanctity almost has the full BOTs up now as well. Does have the Spirit Vessel completed, just needs some earn charges for himself. And well, this is kind of one of the things about the mid-con. The Sanctity has not moved, right? So he's got no charges. So you're kind of expecting to see some rotations very soon from the Keeper.
He should. I mean, he did try down bot. It's just that they found kills a little bit too fast for him on the TP. It's BetBoom to go out with a smoke here, but instantly broken.
A save. Nice Nightmare dodge on the blast off. Will avoid all the damage from Zayat. With the control out from GPK. Zayat still actually alive. Toronto kind of healing him up a little bit there, and Toronto's gonna die. Once again, Nefrit with the rotations, able to secure a kill. It's now Sanctity. He's got the Spirit Vessel charges. He'll see GPK. The hook shot off the mark. A very nice shield crash, but the roar is out. Nightmare will make it a little bit harder to take down GPK, but he is gone. They will eventually get the Pangolier kill. And now Na'Vi, they are well and truly online.
That they are. Grouping up for that mid-siege onto the tier 1, opening up the map even further. For BetBoom, a little bit unfortunate, just not enough damage to run down Zayat. once they saw that rotation out from Sanctity, GPK just turned his heel and ran. Didn't want to fully commit on that remaining time in the Rolling Thunder. Doesn't quite have the full Diffusal Blade either, still 500 gold away. Doesn't really have that great burst damage to really take care of these softer targets just yet. Only benefit right now for BetBoom is you are getting free space for Nightfall to farm, but it's still a sad state for that Luna right now. They've got some good wards to watch forward. Really good forward ward here from Zayat to watch in front of that tier 2 in case anyone pops out. And you are giving space as well for Miero to find that blink. It feels like it's hinging on this blink timing now on the mag to start to make some plays, along with the Pango timing on that Diffusal. It all kind of ties into those two cores connecting. And the side of Na'Vi, if they keep shrinking that map down, I mean, that connection will still happen, but you'll have yourself a nice, healthy advantage to kind of play around with on Na'Vi's end. And one thing that happens with the snowball as well here, Mike, is that you're up against techies. Zayats can start planting some aggressive mine spots, start to spot out these rotations, make it hard for you to try to bounce back in for the side of BetBoom. And that's all off the back of this early map control that Nefrit has built up.
Radiant are scanning.
Bottom lane, Sanctity's looking to rotate and kind of meet up with Nefrit here. They might even be thinking about that tier 2 tower this early on. It certainly feels like you can apply the pressure thanks to that Helm of the Dom. And Na'Vi not finding a target they'd really like to commit on. They'll just get back to that tier 2 tower, slowly chipping away. As it seems like Tokyo is going to be in charge of trying to creep skip here on the Oracle. Does kind of miss out on the creep wave though, sadly, so won't be able to hold the next creep wave back. It's still a tier 2 tower at 12 minutes though, so it's still quite a slow process, to be absolutely fair. But the Helm of the Overlord will be coming rather soon for Nefrit, so things should escalate quite a bit very, very soon.
And it should have maybe enough if they want to really commit onto that early objective. There are some big timings up. Blink has flown out for Miero, so he does have some initiation angles to take now for the team. Just need to find that opportunity now. I mean, you've got that Diffusal up for GPK. He is working towards a fast Ags as well for even more damage in the middle of that Rolling Thunder. It's just a little bit tough to find a way out. Again, you've got these very nice mines set up by Zayat, already blocking off like a smoke angle down bot. So they'll have to kind of try on top, but the top tier 1 still stands. Save.
The jump is there. They're going to find themselves a Bane. This really isn't the biggest kill in the world. I feel like Save almost doesn't mind dying like that to understand exactly where everyone's been positioned here on Na'Vi. But they'll take the Bane kill, happily, of course. And Na'Vi, I mean, for now, more than happy to sit back and relax. But it does feel like with this kind of position that they're in, you want to see them maybe a little bit more aggressive. Nefrit's once again going through the bottom wave. In fairness, BetBoom are not really giving them many openings right now. Obviously, you'd love to pick off a core, but all the cores have been missing on the map.
That they have. I played it safe. They're just farming up in the very limited areas of control they do have on hand. They've been doing a good job of just not going to the hot zones where Zayat has been camping. They know this bot jungle is extremely hot. They will try with a smoke out, but the mines might be able to spot that.
Sanctity is going to be around the area. BetBoom prepping for a team fight. They've got the blink up on Miero. If they lose this fight, it's basically a tier 2 tower gone, perhaps. BetBoom slowly moving up, trying to find an angle. They will not have that angle, though. Na'Vi do retreat successfully. Oh, save. His position was revealed. Hookshot from Malady, a little bit off the mark, looking for GPK. Save still in danger, however, as Sanctity has caught him with the Solar Bind, and well, Save is gone. Another nice pickup here for Sanctity. It's like Nefrit now looking to go on towards that bottom tier 2 tower, and in fact, Uragi's going to join as well. They're not holding back. Sanctity forcing GPK and Tokyo back towards their base, and that bottom tier 2 tower is looking as good as dead.
And it is instant TPs up top as well, trying to find Nightfall here.
Well, Sanctity, he'll have the Solar Bind, but does he have a TP cancel? The answer is no. pretty much needed Malady there, and he didn't have a hook shot anymore. In fact, Malady, Fortuneton will lock him down. This should be a bit of a freebie for BetBoom. Malady trying to make it as hard as possible with the cogs, but it just won't matter.
No. They got the objective they were looking for. That entire sequence of events just comes off of Miero running right into the mines. I mean, his smoke did pop on the ramp, but again, it's this information Zayat is providing, cutting off BetBoom from finding bigger targets. It's making it a little bit rough to try to play off of this item spike that they have built for themselves on BetBoom. Are forced to just hug tier 2 mid. Top tier 1 should fall after a little bit of a shove from Na'Vi. You are still recovering on Nightfall quite nicely. He does have Yasha. He's going into the Manta, of course, as you'd expect. And GPK, all things considered, is still eclipsing Sanctity and Farm. Only behind Nefrit. It's only Nefrit, really, that's running away with this game right now. He's working towards the Blink next. Doing a great job with the Underhide creep to just keep that aggression going. And as long as if they can find the next tier 2s, it gets really awkward for BetBoom. But they can't let off the gas to Na'Vi. They have to keep going.
Hook shot off the mark. Miero narrowly able to get away. Does blink away after trying to go after the full creep wave. Sanctity still having a bit of a gander, but can't find too much. It's Na'Vi. I mean, they could look towards that mid tier 2 if they really want to. Not going to be the quickest process, but they can certainly do it if they so wish. Instead, still hunting down Nightfall. Without the hook shot, though, it's going to be pretty hard to lock the Luna down. So I say that, with Aurora out, Nightfall is basically as good as dead. And Nightfall, they're running right into your cert. Problem is, you don't have the initial lockdown. Meanwhile, Zayat's actually going to die to Miero as Nightfall. He gets slowed up by the creep. The slam. Still, they will save him with the false promise and he'll pop the Eclipse, but it shouldn't matter. He's taking way too much damage. Toronto's still trying to help him out, but he's gone. The Luna is down. The slam from the Thunderhide is what sets up for the kill. And that is actually a huge movement slow. 60%.
It is. It is. You were laughing at me when I used to talk about this, please.
Oh, stop it, John. Miero gets a skewer away. Save. Probably set to fall. In fact, never mind that, because GPK now being chased down by Nefrit. Zayat will land the blast off. Save still surviving a little bit longer, but eventually they should have their way, and they do. Malady able to secure, but now, oh, Miero goes for an RP, goes for a skewer back. Nefrit's a big target. He will go down, but Miero may have to pay with his life, and he does. So I dare say Miero finds that very worth it.
Certainly is. That actually switches the lead down by a pretty big amount. It was peaking at 5k, went down to 3, back at 4, but it's a massive streak that was on Nefrit. That does stall out on the push at very least. Like, all of these deaths are pretty substantial for BetBoom, but their towers still stand. At this point, you have to kind of throw bodies to stall out in the push and hope that you get enough downtime in between fights to get some farm going for yourself here. Manta for Nightfall is going to be a big boon in terms of some escape plans here for the Luna. And they have managed to take over the triangle control on Na'Vi's end. And they've got their own Manta up on Yuragi, going for the Satanic once more. Just have to, again, cut losses on the side of BetBoom, stall out. Try to prevent these tier 2s from coming under too much threat. You're going to hit the Ags timing for Miero relatively soon. You've already got the Ags timing for GPK as well, so team fights are starting to get a little bit more scary from the side of BetBoom. And for Na'Vi, they've got some tools on hand. They've got the Orchid up in Sanctity, no defensive items for BetBoom. So they still have an ace up your sleeve here for Na'Vi's end. I think my big concern for BetBoom is that it doesn't feel like the supports are able to really do much in terms of starting some fights or helping to find some isolations. It's all been sacrificial from Save and Toronto, which is fair. Like, and there's no real connections to make, but you need to start seeing stuff in maybe about 5 minutes. Around the 25-minute mark should be the point where you're ready. Free Roshan coming out for Na'Vi. Secondary life ready for Yuragi. And that should lead into that additional pressure onto the tier 2s. Again, Na'Vi, they can't afford to let off the gas here.
Absolutely not. You do not want to give BetBoom that time to catch up and give them that opportunity to get a team fight win their way. That is all it takes, right? With this style of drafts, like one bad team fight, and your whole game can fall apart that quick. They'll try to pressure again. Mind you, this meta is infamous for how hard it is to push high ground. So it'll be interesting to see how exactly Na'Vi do want to approach that. Even with this style of draft, it just feels like you can't look for a fight into their high ground whatsoever. It needs to be on your own terms. There's BetBoom now, speaking of your own terms, have smoked up as 4. Oh, they might run into Uragi, who's trying for a Tormentor. This could be a very awkward timing from Na'Vi. They're all going to be quite low by the time the jump comes. Rocket Flare's going to see nothing because they're still smoked up. The Tormentor is now officially taken. Miero, are you going to jump? No. No jump.
GPK revealed early. Like, his smoke popped when he walked near its Tormentor. So the Flare did spot GPK, and they know there's no way it's just a Pango hiding in the back, so they have to play it safe. And just kind of cut off that opportunity for BetBoom. Lose a tier 2. 1 outer tower left for BetBoom at 21 minutes in. 5k lead for Na'Vi, which, again, isn't that substantial, to be fair. BetBoom are still managing to work the map well enough. It's Miero that's kind of taking the back seat. But you have some parity here for Nightfall and Uragi. You've got some parity with GPK and Nefrit. So, again, the tools to play are still being formed up. They just need to cut losses. Na'Vi smoking out on the hunt. They would want to, again, find something to lead into the last tier 2 into high ground. It's just BetBoom don't give any opportunities out.
Well, the tier 2 mid tower now going down. And Na'Vi still just kind of sticking by their ancient granite golem. Just keeping it protected. GPK trying his absolute best to snipe the golem, but can't quite get there. BetBoom, they'll venture out into their Radiant Triangle once again. They're actually going to find Uragi. They saw him underneath that ward for a moment, but Uragi has backed his way out now. Instead, into the mid lane they go. They'll find a Clockworks, and Malady still actually able to survive thanks to a 4-staff away, though the stuns are out with the Rolling Thunder, but now the heal's coming in from Sanctity. Malady will make it out, and Na'Vi are now rushing for the fight, but they will not have any form of lockdown to actually find themselves a target. But they still get the tier 2 mid tower. So objectives are still successfully being taken here by Na'Vi. Thing is, that was your final outer tower, so it's all about high ground and Roshan now.
Yeah, I mean, at the least they can apply map control with the mines. Again, break off any smoke movement that BetBoom will want to do to try to catch up. And there's really not many places they can kind of try to sneak around here on the side of BetBoom. So it's a slow choke out now. Again, there is farm, there is threat, there's the RP that's always relevant from Miero with a horn toss as well. It's just a matter of how you try to play the endgame on the side of Na'Vi for their part. How well do they choke out BetBoom? And how well can BetBoom do in trying to find some space for themselves? They're slowly retaking Triangle at the very least. I'm playing Minesweeper with Toronto, but Deep Army is there from Nefrit to dissuade them further.
Oh, jump in, Nefrit, once again, finding a nice target. You always find the Oracle every single time. If you can get the Oracle, you take the Oracle.
Yep.
Jump in though, Miero. Skewer is there, hookshot could not stop him, and now the RP, he found a 2-for-1. Oh boy, Malady, he kind of got dragged along with it. And now, well, Na'Vi, they may not want this team fight. BetBoom looking for it right away, going after Sanctity on the Keeper of the Light, though GPK forced the TP away. Will make it out. He is fine. So you get a little bit of a nice bonus there with Miero. Like, the hookshot trying to stop him from skewering actually helped out.
Yeah. And it does make it work. And that's the kind of thing that keeps you in the game here for BetBoom. That's 1.5k gold off the back of 2 supports dying, considering how far behind you are. And again, it allows some retaking of control through that bot jungle to allow that build-up now for the side of BetBoom. Going for the Hurricane Pike on Nightfall just to disengage from the Razor, of course. You've got the Lincolns for GPK coming out, a BKB for Miero. Once that BKB and the Magnus is up, it does feel like the confidence shoots up here for BetBoom. Again, they scale fairly well on BetBoom. They've got that RP that they play off the back of. They've got the grip as well that can kind of help. At the least, you have Roar from Nefrit as a solution for the Rolling Thunder from GPK. But again, Lincolns is going to be able to take care of that for GPK once that is up. See how much more the side of BetBoom can take, and whether or not Na'Vi again can start to find some holes here. 2 minutes until Roshan, so best thing to do is just shove out.
Zayat trying to jump in, missed the blast off, and Miero's going to say thank you very much for that. They will still find Toronto though. Nefrit just being an absolute menace here on the Beastmaster, not allowing them to take a free kill. I think any kill right now is a good kill for BetBoom.
That it is. Again, you're trading supports, but you're so much lower in net worth that gives you a 500 gold swing your way off the back of one kill. A massive amount being found here by Save, going into the Aether Lens to help reach on that Bane. And it's all around the same area. It's all over contesting this triangle. Just, they know it's such an important part to cut off the side of BetBoom, and BetBoom still managed to brute force their way into having a little bit more reach outside of their high ground. Na'Vi, they're gonna need it feels like they want just a clean pickoff. They need their cores to kind of tie in. With this movement out from the supports, they need to connect with Zayats and Malady. Try to just punish this triangle control they keep reasserting on the side of BetBoom.
They look at Zayat again. Zayat will run his way north. They have ventured out of the base at the very least here, BetBoom. I mean, it's a tough time just being stuck on that high ground for quite a while, but they are finally out on the map, looking to maybe look for a pick-off. Mid-tier 1 tower looking quite tasty here for BetBoom. Na'Vi, do they run at them if they see them is the question. For now, it seems as though Na'Vi is just trying to control the western side of the map. Set up some traps here for Nightfall, who does show his face on the Luna. If they can make the jump, and they will. Roar is out, but the false promise immediately from Toronto. A nice bit of wasted utility here for Na'Vi. BetBoom, they'll get to the high ground, they'll buy themselves more time, and in fact, they'll smoke up immediately. It's a lot of spells down.
It's all down to Miero. She can get the pullback even onto one.
Sanctity's waiting on the high ground. GPK, he'll make the jump. He'll find the Keeper of the Light as well as the Clock. Here comes Uragi trying to sap away the damage output from GPK. They'll take down Malady first. In goes the blast from Zayats, but the Magnus is still perfectly fine to just walk his way out of there. Nightfall, however, he does get slowed up. The Nightmare's not going to help either.
Oh.
Nightfall is down. Na'Vi on the chase. They'll find Save. They'll take Save out surely. Fiend's Grip was out for Nefrit, but it won't matter. Save will buy back once again as they do take down Sanctity at the very least. So the Keeper is gone. GPK able to find himself some pretty big kill. The rest of BetBoom trying for a bit of a chase to find an extra target, but it seems as though Na'Vi is successfully going to be able to retreat, though I say that Nefrit, he's still around, still being chased down, but Uragi is around to help out.
Oh,
the Roar will be
Miero.
committed onto the Magnus. Miero may be going a bit too far, is still saved here by Toronto as they do take down Zayat. They just didn't have the damage. Well, once he committed the Fate's Edict, they just didn't have the damage output.
No, it's not enough there from Na'Vi. Again, you're seeing why the high ground's just so tough. BetBoom are starting to take fights outside high ground as well. That's not even remotely close to the tier 3s. Miero, that's him without a BKB. Once he has that BKB, he's going to be able to get that RP off. He's going to be able to not care too much about the control that the side of Na'Vi is leveraging here. Roshan, next objective for Na'Vi to take. Of course, they've got control in the area. Should be able to find this one nice and free with a cheese on top of the Aegis. Should start to provide some opportunities for the high ground. BetBoom, though, you can't count them out, right? Even with the Aegis, it just doesn't feel like you can. And find Zayats.
But they will. Zayat's going to go down, but they do get Roshan. So Zayat will lose his life, but Roshan does go the way of Na'Vi. Thing is, though, BetBoom, they are slowly starting to feel a lot more confident now on the map. into the dire triangle. Now they go looking towards the bottom tier 1 tower where Yuragi will TP. Uh-oh. Yuragi will show himself with the plasma field, and GPK immediately pops the Rolling Thunder. On the chase, Yuragi, how do you find your way out of this one? He'll hide in the corner for a moment, but eventually they do catch him. Can they take him down? Yuragi, still alive, has the Aegis up for another 4 minutes anyway, so we'll have a secondary life. Eats the cheese instead, though. He'll survive the first life anyway. Save and Miro are gone. Nightfall's gonna run. He's being cut off here by the clockwork, though, but do they have the TP cancel? They don't. They do not. He's able to get out on the Luna. Toronto will die. 3 down for the price of nothing. Yuragi won't even lose the Aegis.
No. They forced out the cheese usage, at the very least. That's one piece of utility away from Na'Vi, but not the big one you'd want to expend from the side of BetBoom. A very forced movement out. I get that they are under pressure here from BetBoom to take anything they can. That was very far forward on a tier 1, on a very protected area of the map of Na'Vi. Respawns are fairly short, so you at least have that going for yourself here. You will still have the high ground defense to play with on the side of BetBoom. RP still a minute away, so there is a window here for Na'Vi to not care, but the horn toss skewer back might be enough to make things complicated anyhow. We'll lose Toronto Tokyo to the Tormentor.
Oopsie daisies.
That Nightfall was trying to take. And it happens, I guess.
Bet he was trying to heal Nightfall as well. And Nightfall just not spot. I know how it is. No, you worry, John. I've had these situations happen to me. Miero. Oh, that's a nice pickup. Sanctity gets caught. Sanctity immediately Fiend's gripped and he is gone. And you are still up against the Magnus. You really can't afford to be in that position.
No. And that's what we were talking about right there. Even without the RP, just horn toss skewer back and find yourself some play. It just makes it tough with Na'Vi. They still hang on to this Aegis for quite some time. Still 2.5 minutes left on that, but you'll have an RP use ready on Miero. He has his BKB up now. Should be able to actually use that RP in the way that he'd want to. Some tips coming out on the team. Clearing out these waves. Inside of Na'Vi.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It is mildly concerning. I mean, your 7k lead, again, isn't substantial. Nightfall is basically equalized on farm. It's Miero that's taking the short end of the stick, which, with his BKB, it's not that big of an issue. So you've got the damage ready on your Luna. She's got the Conda out. The Lucent Beam spam is going to be pretty damn painful now. See if Na'Vi can start to blow something up here. Smoke out.
Can't find too much with the Rocket Flare. BetBoom do successfully get their way out of there. No real victims being caught here by the side of Na'Vi. Toronto just buys a Blink Dagger on the Oracle, which you do love to see as well. Like in a game like this where he's just being targeted every single time, you really just need to sit back as far back as possible and just wait for that perfect moment to jump in for a false promise. It's just doing what he needs to do to get those spells off before he does die. Nothing worse than an Oracle that you can't kill.
That might be the difference maker as well with how these fights break out. Toronto can hang a screen away, has the Aether Lens and a Psychic Headband, so all the cast range you could ask for on top. Getting some good forward wards. Spotted immediately by the Sentry.
Oh, nice RP. They're going to find the Beastmaster, and once again, the Clockwork Hook is only adding to the damage. Zayat's also looking to get caught. Will get the Yule Scepter off, but it will not matter.
Oh boy.
It's just, I mean, they're just kind of sticking around that bottom area as 3. BetBoom, as soon as they realize they're not fully there as a unit, they just jump in and find the easiest kills of their lives.
And that does not bode well for Na'Vi. That cuts off any chance for the high ground. And your scaling starts to drop down here on Na'Vi. I mean, there's only so much your Kotal can keep doing as the game scales on into the 40-minute, 45, 50-minute mark. When we approach late game. Look at that graph, Mike. Look at how far that nosedive back to BetBoom. 53% chance to win now. 3.5k gold swinging on that fight. And it's just back to what we were saying. Na'Vi could not let go off the gas pedal. They had to keep stepping on it. But it's high ground. You can't fault Na'Vi as well. How do you approach high ground up against a Magnus that can just pull you back up against this follow-up from your Pangolier on BetBoom's end? It's just way too much follow-through. With all the damage in the world from Nightfall, we still managed to farm up Storm number 1 in that worth now off the back of that fight after being stuck in the middle of the pack for a long time. Has a full BKB as well. I feel like Na'Vi should have went back for just a straight refresh in Yuragi. Again, he's like into Satanic, which he has now, going back for the AC. Just like the easiest solution is like refresh Ags for Razor, double static link someone right in the middle, give no cares, and then just get the rundown. It's a bit late for that theoretical now. At the very least, the Satanic will allow a prolonged fight up against Nightfall quite easily if they can get that isolation. BetBoom confident enough to start dipping away into the river. They can reapply control and just, again, scale back and farm, pull this lead away from Na'Vi.
I mean, no, it feels like they already have. Like, Nightfall's second in net worth, your Pango GPK, he's top net worth now. Like, you've gotten to a stage where I think you've kind of missed the train as Na'Vi, and it only gets harder and harder from here. If you are Na'Vi, as BetBoom are looking to hunt down this dire end of things now. They initially wanted to go bottom, but they'll head up top instead, realizing that Na'Vi are probably around that area. Just clearing out the creep wave. They'll run straight through the mid-river. Into the dire jungle they'll go. Oh, on Sanctity, he'd be a great pick off to start. They'll see him as well. Miero, no, he doesn't get the horn toss, but he gets the RP. And Melody again. Melody just hooks right into it. Meanwhile, GPK, he'll get held on the spot for a moment, but gets the fortune's end off here from Toronto Tokyo, so he's going to be just fine. Yuragi could not finish off the job. They're on to Nightfall instead, but Nightfall will just force staff away. Instead, Miero, he'll drag back Zayat, but it seems as though nobody wants to fight any longer. He'll even save TP's out. Everyone's just out of there freely from BetBoom. The 2 buybacks committed mean nothing from Na'Vi.
That's a worrying sign for Na'Vi. Takes away pretty much the net worth lead all the way back to BetBoom in terms of the numbers here. And it's just down to, again, you're playing into a Magnus. You're playing into this hard AoE control. Sure, you managed to get the roar off onto GPK, but the save is there from Toronto. Now that he has that blink, he's just hanging all the way back. You can just get these saves on his cores as they need it to be. Roche is respawning shortly so they can maximize the buybacks on Na'Vi, trying to get control over that objective. I don't think BetBoom will let that go for free any longer. Sure, RP's down for a little bit more, but they can sneak outside their base now. They can keep the shove out. These Luna Illusions hit for a lot of damage. Gonna be able to take a free Tormentor for themselves. Nice little shard out for save. And they just take the bite away from Na'Vi. Now all the creep waves not shoving in as consistently as they once was. Roshan is up. It's going to have a little bit more time up top. The mind pops to tell them. Has the free Ags blessing as well. So that is a big boon for Na'Vi if they can just run into Roche right now, but they're not risking it.
I mean, just a lot of patience here from both sides, but I think Na'Vi are the ones feeling a little bit more kind of trapped in this game too now. As they're certainly not out of it yet, but there's certainly dire straits at this point as the wind probably has completely swung the other way. Smoke on smoke, but we are going to have a quick pause out. Yuragi making the pause happen here. Very awkward position. I mean, they're right across from each other at this top lane. The go-ahead is out. Miero is not smoked up. Nightfall is, though, right next to him. They'll see the Magnus very soon. Nefrit, he'll make the jump in. The Sight Device was out, but that was pretty much it. They'll hex him up, but nothing comes out of it. BetBoom looking to relocate. Malady getting caught there for a second. Meanwhile, GPK going to jump in with the Rolling Thunder, trying to find himself a straggler. Nobody really sticking around as now GPK needs his own way up, and here comes Miero with the RP. Not the hook again, Malady. The Fiend's Grip now holding down Nefrit. He needs some help. He cannot survive, though. Nightfall will take him out as they'll even find Zayat. He'll buy back. So will Nefrit, but where are they going? Who's left to fight? Sanctity's gone. So is Yuragi by the looks of it. No chance of surviving on this Razor. He will die. An ultra kill out for the Luna. And these buybacks once again will mean nothing. As Nightfall's looking for a rampage, and he might just have it. Zayat. Oh, they'll save it for... No, they won't. Toronto. Why Toronto? Why?
Is under attack.
Yeah, the support's revenge, Mike. What do you mean?
I like it. I mean, I'm
Crying about
asking why.
supports not getting anything, right? There you go. You know why.
I secretly enjoyed it, John. I just dramatic effect, you know.
That's going to be a dramatic Roshan coming out now for BetBoom. 17K lead, 93% chance to win. And it's just messy. Na'Vi, it just feels a little bit disconnected in some of these calls, right? Like, they tried to isolate Nightfall. No one's there to follow through from that movement from Malady. So Nightfall gets to just get kicked out. They drop the Will-O-Wisp on top of that movement, but no fall through. You have Yuragi forced to static link up the Pango in the middle of the roll without the roar. So GPK can just break the link. You don't have refresh, so there's no second link.
Dyer's
And it's all just messy for Na'Vi. BetBoom looking a lot cleaner. They might be able to find a save at the least.
I mean, maybe save. Well, they will. They'll get themselves a Bane, but it probably is going to cost them Malady on the clock. Malady actually gets the jetpack away, but it won't matter. Nightfall with the Kanda Lucent Beam certainly has plenty of damage. Oh, now you've got the Axe Bane as well. This is where things get real fun as a Bane player, John. Now you just can do nothing against the Feint script. It's amazing.
No, I mean, they could. Theoretically, the Clockwork's probably your best answer to that with Cogs pushback on 2 and the Battery Assault in the main. I feel like that's kind of the best angle you have now on Na'Vi, but as we've seen, Malady's been very keen to hookshot Miero.
Yeah.
And kind of chase him, which has caused some issues for Na'Vi. To be fair, I did find it entertaining the first 3 times. Like, all 3 were actually quite entertaining. At this point, it's just really hard now for Na'Vi. They cannot do that. Do not do that. No.
But it's you know, you see the idea. He's trying to stop the skewer back plays, but it's just, you've got to pretty much be, like, immediate with the reaction. You don't have, like, half a second to waste.
No.
Dyer's bottom tower.
It's a very tight window. Full Swift Blink now up for Nightfall. Hits like an absolute truck. Just get that siege onto the tier 2. And now they can actually threaten the high ground with these Luna illusions here on the side of BetBoom. Still have the Aegis for a good amount of time as well. No rush on the side of BetBoom. And oh, Na'Vi, after a very smooth game, again, their lead, it just never grew big enough. They didn't find that opening for the high ground, and
Are scanning.
this is what happens.
Dyer's middle tower.
Oh, found another one. That's Sanctity gone. Sanctity just in an awkward position by that tier 3 bottom tower, getting caught by Miero, who just hasn't been missing with these skewers. And suddenly BetBoom looking to find a 2-0 victory onto the tier 3 bottom tower. Na'Vi now 20k behind. Apparently a 5 or 4% chance of win probability here for Na'Vi. Not looking too good for them. Because they'll find the bottom racks, no problems.
Dyer's bottom.
And it seems though Na'Vi are just not even intending on coming back.
Radiant's top.
Yuragi's just still farming, trying to work towards, I believe, a butterfly at the moment.
Dyer's top.
Nightfall in the meantime, he'll just happily take the base. Miero, oh, he's found another.
More.
Well, this time Malady won't be hooking into it at least. So that's good news.
Yeah, saves him the effort. Fortunately, that will not save him the racks. And we'll lose the mid. Full butterfly up for Malady, out for Yuragi, but I don't know if that's enough. Doesn't feel like it.
Miero looking for another.
Oh.
Nice RP. He found the Beastmaster. GPK, he'll ruin the skewer, but it won't matter because he's got another RP. Into the Eclipse he goes. And with that, this could be the end as Nefrit will go down without buyback available. Yuragi trying to fight, but there's just no chance in hell. GG well played is called. And my goodness, I mean, BetBoom, it looked incredibly dire for this game number 2, but they just play patiently and they make it work.